Welcome to Inner Peace Better Health. Today, we're joined by Ashmita Arora, spiritual teacher, clarity intuitive, and channel of profound wisdom from Source. With a life shaped by transformation, loss, and awakening, Ashmita helps us uncover hidden patterns, navigate change, and step fully into the truth of who we are. Ashmita, it's so nice to have you on the show.
It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Yes, so Ashmita, you talk about standing at life's thresholds. How do you recognize when someone is at a pivotal moment of transformation?
Yeah, typically, they've been stuck for a while. It's not something that just happens quickly and then they're right there. It's typically something that has affected them in their lives in many different circumstances. So whether it be through relationships or through education, career, family life, it's typically something that's taken a hold on them throughout various different times in their life. And they've just gotten to a part where they feel so constricted and so contracted, and they're almost bursting at the seams to get out. Yeah.
So I was wondering, what's the first step you guide them towards to move from uncertainty to clarity?
Yeah. The first step is really understanding and bringing to their awareness the truth about our nature and who we are and what we are and why we are. And that it sounds simple enough, but when you're reconstructing from a place, a soul level place, it's a lot for some individuals to take in. Because for instance, if I was to say, you are not this person that you think you are, a daughter, a mom, a student, you are actually source, you are energy creating this experience. For some people, they understand that. And for some people, it takes them a minute to really wrap their head around them not identifying with that understanding of who they are and coming from a place of being neutral, and so they can really create the path forward. But the first phase that I take them through is deconstructing who they think that they are and bringing the truth of who we are to the forefront.
Mhm. That sounds so practical, unlearning the wrong stuff, then learning the right stuff. It's wonderful, and it's fascinating to see how noticing these moments sets the stage for deeper insight. So when it comes to those hidden patterns beneath the surface, how do they influence our choices?
Oh, in so many ways. One of the gifts that I had after my spiritual awakening was I'm able to see people's soul level patterns. So when I speak to them, it's almost like they're saying certain words, but I can read in between the lines of what is actually there. And I'm able to tell them on a soul level why they're going through certain situations, what they're meant to learn, where they're meant to grow, things that are hidden to them in a sense because it's on the other side of the veil. So I'm able to bring that through and introduce it to them because they don't understand. We talk a lot about ego, and people don't truly understand what ego means. It's not something that's bad. It's the way that I've downloaded it is it's anything that you've learned through your senses. So it's things that you've seen, you've heard, you've experienced, like the taste or the smells, you associate it with something. Because I'll give you an example. Child. A child does not mean the same thing to everybody. So if you have a child, that means something to you. If somebody else doesn't care for a child, they have a different mindset about that, right? If somebody's lost children, they have a different mind. It means something different to everybody based on what they've experienced. And so sometimes they don't understand that they can skew other areas of their life based on their experience. So it helps to show them what they're basing their life on. And then I'm able to then let them rework their own idea about themselves and the way that they perceive life.
That's really interesting. Can you share an example where revealing a subtle pattern led to a major life shift?
Yeah, definitely. There's times in life where you don't see the correlation between work and say relation like personal relationships and family relationships. And you will play out the same type of feeling in different situations. So for instance, say that you were bullied in school. And then
Mm.
when you get into a relationship, you feel like they are the star of the show, or they are the one that makes that is able to make the decisions in the relationship. And say in the family, you just kind of went along. In all areas of your life, you felt small, you felt less than. See,
Mm.
it's different situations, but the same underlining feeling. And so you'll try to do things later in life where, say, you get a job of position and
Mm.
you want to have that authority because in your life you've never felt that you had anything worth saying or nobody was going to listen to you. And now you can get this job, this thing to prove that you have a sense of control or power. But the moment in that workplace where you start to go through challenges that can make you feel small, you start to close back up. Or you
Mm.
start to revolt against it and get hard because
Mm.
now it's being taken from you. So those are situations where you're relying on something outside of you to change how you
Mm.
feel inside. It works like that because a lot of people, they don't realize it. They don't realize that what they seek to fix the lack of feeling these things, they're looking for something to change on the inside, but they're trying to do it from the outside. And that's not sustainable because anything
Mm.
that taken away from you, it's not truly yours, right?
Yes, yes. And that makes so much sense because our past experiences make us feel what we're feeling today. They literally guide us how what we're experiencing in the present moment, I feel like. And once we see those patterns, it's easier to understand how experience like loss and dismantling shape the way we grow. Speaking of which, loss and dismantling have been part of your journey. How have these experiences shaped the way you guide others?
Yeah, through our lives and myself, we get into situations, patterns, expectations, just different situations in life where it puts you into a box. And
Mm.
so for me personally, it was the sense of, okay, this is the job that I want to do. This is the profession. And I have to try to do everything to power ahead and be successful. However, for me, one of the things that happened was I would constantly be hit with health issues. I didn't know at the time why. They were not explainable. They were very random health issues that I would get into. But that dismantled the belief in myself, first and foremost. And then from there, I had to take it and dismantle it in with my own empowered state of being, where I was like, you know what? Just because I hit that health issue does not mean that this profession makes me less than. I can take from that and redefine what success looks like, what life is meant to feel like for me. A lot of dismantling is also being able to decipher what we really want in life and where that comes from. It has to come from this inner space that I speak about because if we rely on those things that are outside of us, if we're looking for those things to cause that same reaction, we're going to fall short. So we really need to dismantle our belief system from thinking
Mm.
that it's something that needs to be obtained to
Mm.
something we just have to remember we already hold within us.
Hmm. What you said makes me wonder if struggle is necessary for spiritual or personal awakening.
Of course. Of course, because think about when we get into states of flow, when we get into states of spiritual awakening, these are things that expand us. We have no reason to expand if we don't contract. And so when we go through these challenges, all these challenges, we get a certain strength or a certain skill set or a certain understanding. And I would say if there's somebody that we could say has a blessed life that's never run into any issues in their life, that doesn't have to struggle with anything, is that really a blessed life or are they missing out? Because in loss, you find compassion. In hardships, you find strength. In all of these things, you pick up different skill sets. And if somebody is only blessed, and they've never had a reason to build their toolbox, how do they continue to add? And in another context, if we take it on a soul level, they may have all that knowledge from past lives that they've already gone through the hardships and maybe they are just here to be blessed, right? But for those of us that are going through challenge, it's always for a reason. It's never happening to dismantle us as energy or source. It cannot do that. It's only there to challenge us. We asked for these situations to come about so that we learn from them. We just don't remember that.
Yes, yes. That perspective is different and somehow I feel like powerful because it reframes pain not as a setback but as a catalyst for deeper alignment. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible how those challenges can become catalysts for growth. And speaking of growth, many listeners seek the meaning of life. From your experience, how do you convey that truth in a way that's practical and actionable?
Yeah, this is a beautiful question. A lot of people right now are looking for the meaning of life. They're confused. They're going through burnout. They're going through family dismantling. They're going through religious uprising within themselves, trying to figure out what do they believe in, or, or do they want to leave those beliefs behind? What's happening? So, what is the meaning of life? And it's beautiful because it is absolutely meaningless. There is no meaning to life. The meaning is that you are here to dictate what it means to you. You are here to assign the meaning. In every situation that you have in your life, in every relationship that you have, with anything and everything, you're here to assign what it means to you. And you're here to remember that you hold the power to be able to assign the meaning and what you want to experience. And that's the best way to really learn what the meaning of life is to be able to understand you have the power 100%
Mm.
dictate what it
Mm.
means to you.
Yeah, actually, what you just said really redefines my perspective of purpose because I used to think purpose is assigned to person before they're brought into this world, but now it just sounds like purpose is something that you find yourself for yourself, and that's a beautiful way to look at it. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, the purpose, see, have you heard like a lot of people they go on these journeys to find what their purpose is? And they go through a lot of different situations to find what their purpose is. And I tell my clients, I say, purpose, the only purpose is to expand. It's just to expand, learn, grow, expand. And the challenges that we go through in life, we decide that on a soul level before we come in. And we decide that because we want to know what we're going to experience. What are our contractions going to be? So I want to expand and experience this thing. Okay. When you come in at a soul level, you go, I want to go through this hardship, this, because that will get me to there. Then we come and we forget that. We come and we completely forget it. Then we go through these challenges in life and we're trying to figure out what it is or why is this happening? And it's all because we're just meant to expand. And we expand by also knowing we can assign the meaning that we give life, you know?
That's amazing, and I was wondering, how can someone start living more aligned with their true self, even in small daily choices?
Yeah, they need to, first of all, know who they are, understand that they are not this, it's like a video game. You're playing your character, you are not your character. So remember that as you move through life, remember that you are source. You're only here to experience. It's not so serious. You could smile. You can know that every challenge you picked before you came here. And now you do have free will of how you want to go about and experience it. And so just know that there's nothing that's happening to you. It's all happening for you and through you. And just allow life to kind of flow, even in the hard times. No, it's for a reason. It's always for a reason.
And that sounds really insightful. The very first step is to understand ourselves, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right? Hmm. And before we wrap our episode, I was wondering, for our listeners, for people feeling stuck in identity, career, or relationships, what's one key practice to reconnect with their inner guidance?
Quiet your mind and let go of distortion because it's an attachment that you have to a certain way of thinking and a certain way of looking at things that's keeping you attached to a certain narrative. So if you can just let go of that attachment to it, then you can clear your mind and see things in a different viewpoint. And that can really take you in and allow you to see things that you may have not seen before when you were stressed or thinking about different things.
Mm. And when you mean by attachment, does that mean obsession in a way?
No, it's attachment to meaning, it's attachment to perception, it's attachment to items, it's attachment to anything. I always say there's only one problem in this world and there's only one solution. The solution is always detachment and the problem is always an attachment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense somehow. And how
Yeah.
and how does tuning into this guidance transform their perception of challenges and opportunities?
They'll see how simple things really are. It's not as complicated as we think there's 100 problems that we're going through, but it's all just the same problem. It's always contraction. It's the same problem.
Yes, yes, understood. Can't agree more. And Ashmita, before we wrap our episode, for the listeners who will be wanting to connect with you, can you please tell them the ways to do so?
Yeah, absolutely. AshmitaArora.com. You can go in there. I've got a free guide that you could download as well. It has just quick little tips to help you reconnect with yourself and get ready for the upcoming shift that's happening in this world now with everyone connecting to source and themselves. And also, if you'd like to book a clarity call where I use my intuition and my psychic ability to go in for you and answer questions, that's on my site. And there's also a couple other sessions on there to really help you transform as well. But everything is on ashmitaarora.com.
Hmm. Amazing, amazing. All the details regarding the ways to connect with Ashmita will be in show notes, so please go and check that, listeners. Ashmita, it was a wonderful experience to be talking with you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes, thank you. And what an illuminating conversation with Ashmita Arora. She reminds us that life's meaning isn't a distant answer. It's discovered in the alignment of our choices, awareness, and inner guidance. Take a moment today to listen deeply, act consciously, and step boldly into your truest self. Keep seeking, keep awakening, and embrace your journey to inner peace and better health. Thank you for tuning in. This has been your host, Charu, and the show is Inner Peace, Better Health, where peace is power and overthinking's overrated.